Hi everybody, this is Sandra and I'm at work, and the word for today is Isaiah 42, 6 and 7. It says, I the Lord, Lord in Greek means Jehovah, have called, that means to proclaim in Greek, thee in righteousness, which means just in Greek, and will hold thy hand, that means to be strong in Greek, and will keep thee, that means to guard in Greek, and give, which means to grant in Greek, thee for a covenant, which is a pledge in Greek, of the people means to give in Greek, for a light, which means day in Greek, of the Gentiles, which is nation in Greek. 7. It says to open means to free in Greek, the blind, which is the sightless in Greek, eyes, to bring out, which means to go out in Greek, the prisoner, which is the captive in Greek, from the prison, which is the dungeon in Greek, and them that sit means to dwell in Greek, in darkness, which is sin, evil in Greek, out of the prison, which is the dungeon, house. Well, I was on Facebook this morning, and there was a father where some other, I'm not sure where he was at, but the school was teaching the kids about Satanism, and they had tore up the Bible and little pieces of papers all over and stuff like that, and he was telling what is going on in the schools. And I have told you since 2013, God has told me to warn people for what is coming. And I said that God said that He needs you to stand. Right now, all you have to do is, if you need to call your school. God says you need to call your school and say, hey, I want to know, are you teaching kids how to be gay, how to be a lesbian, it's all right to have sex with a pedophile? This is what they're grooming your children for, because the wickedness ones that's in our government that is pushing all this stuff that's going on, they're the ones that's behind to be able to pass the laws for pedophiles to have sex with your children. Now, all you have to do right now, God says, He needs you to stand. He needs you to call your schools. He said you need to ask them. So I want to know what you are going to show us as parents, what you're teaching our kids in sex ed. Or else you take your kids out of sex ed if they won't do it. And if it has to come to push and shove, you take your kid out of the school and go somewhere else. That's all you have to do right now. God said if you just do that and stand, that's all He needs you to do right now. Get on your phone and call your school. And if they're coming in and they're bringing drag queens in, take your kid out of school. If they're bringing them to your library, go to your library and say, I'm not going to pass any more funding for you if this doesn't stop. This is all God needs you to do right now. This is it. Just stand. Because if you don't do it now, it's just back in the days where they took prayer out of school. One woman done that because nobody else would stand. If you don't stand, God said, He showed me in a vision last year that it's not going to be just the Jews in the prison camps. It's going to be the Christians right along with them. We have a chance, God says, to turn this around. God gave us President Trump. He don't care if you like him, if you don't like him. He called him for such a time as this because he's bold and he will do what he says. We need that right now. And if he's doing things that you don't like, then get on your knees and pray for the man. Quit your complaining. Quit your complaining, God says. So get on the phone and call your schools. Call your libraries and you tell them, if they allow this, then we are no longer going to give you any grants. We're not going to pass it. We're going to deny it. You can stop this. And this is all you have to do is pick up a phone. Go to the school and say, I want to see what you're teaching our kids in sex ed. And if they refuse to do it, then you take your kid out of it. And then if they do it anyways, you sue them, God says. You take them to court and sue them. Money talks. Money talks. Take them out of school. So this is all God's given me for today. So it's not from me, because I always pray when God puts that in my spirit to say something. I always go to the throne. I ask God to open the door that 100% of the words out of my mouth is Him, and shut the door by any of me. So this is what God's given you today. Get up and stand.